You're watching Global Toronto. This is Global News at 6.
Tonight, winter wallop. We're in the middle of a major storm with up to 50 centimeters of snow set to blanket the GTA.
Oh, I think it's really cold. Yeah, really cold, and this part is windy.
I mean, it's just a day.
We're in Canada.
It's on the desk, right? Yeah.
Our Global News crews are out braving the elements to bring you team coverage of the significant snowfall from the streets to the airport. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Gallagher. The GTA is feeling winter's wrath tonight. Snow has been falling throughout the day, and it's not set to stop for the next several hours. We could see anywhere from 20 to 50 centimeters of snow by the end of the day, and Toronto's downtown core has been one of the hardest hit areas, courtesy of lake effect snow. And that's where we find our Sean O'Shea, who's right on the waterfront tonight. Sean, talk us through those nasty conditions out there.
Kevin, good evening. I can tell you, as somebody who lives downtown, when the snow comes, we don't usually get hit that hard downtown right here, but that is not the case today. A lot of lake effect. Now, about 4 o'clock this afternoon, the city declared a snow emergency effectively, and in doing so, they're saying it's going to take longer for streets to be cleared, for sidewalks to be shoveled, for those bike lanes to be open, and they're not going to be subject to provincial standards. What did this snow mean for people today? Well, a lot of businesses were closed, restaurants were closed, some people were out. The ones that were out were the ones that really wanted to be out. A Sunday snowfall blanketing the city with white. What do you think of the weather?
Oh, I think it's really cold. Yeah, really cold, and this part is windy.
A storm people were told was coming. You're getting blown around here.
Yes.
But you're out. You're enjoying it?
Yeah, enjoying it a little bit, but it's definitely affecting our lives.
Those who needed to get somewhere faced delays, whether on public transit or in vehicles. Road conditions included whiteouts. Police urged drivers to stay off highways if possible, but the OPP shared they've already received 100 calls for collisions and another 100 calls for cars getting stuck in these snowy conditions over the past 24 hours across the GTHA. The snow forced all kinds of cancellations, but not the scheduled NHL game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Colorado Avalanche. Not showing up was not an option for this man.
We're here in Toronto, Canada, so this is expected weather.
I came down by train. Let somebody else take care of the driving for me.
The city said it was prepared for the storm with snow clearing equipment and staff ready to go once the snow started.
There are 600 snowplow out there, and we have deployed 1,300 staff, and they are plowing our street.
The goal of this is to keep cars off the road so we can do two things. One is plow right to the side of the road, and secondly, make sure on those priority transit routes that transit continues to work.
For some, the snowfall was something they wanted to experience.
You know, the view is really beautiful.
These friends from Mexico wanted to capture the storm on their cameras.
This is my first blizzard here in Toronto, so I wanted to experience this and take good photos.
You like this weather?
Of course, nothing wrong with it.
You're dressed for it?
Yeah.
A few went out dressed in shorts, and still others treated this Sunday like any other. Why are you running on a day like today?
Sorry.
No time to talk. For those venturing out, it was no big deal. Why'd you come out today?
Why not? I mean, it's just a day.
Now, the one thing about this snow is it's pretty light, but the reality is it's still snow. It's still pretty deep. It's making it hard to get around. City had a press conference at 5 o'clock today. The mayor and the city manager talking to reporters saying, look, people are going to have to be patient. They're going to do their best to get the streets cleared as quickly as possible. They're prioritizing TTC bus stops. They want to make sure people can get around that way tomorrow. But the reality is cleaning all those streets, that's not going to happen in a very timely way. It's going to take time because it is still snowing now and is still snowing significantly, and that adds to this problem here, Kevin.
Well, it's going to be a messy one and a long cleanup, it sounds like. Thanks so much, Sean. Go get warm. And Sean O'Shea in downtown Toronto. Now, as the snow continues to pile up, many of you are probably wondering, when will it stop? Well, our chief meteorologist, Anthony Farnell, has been tracking this storm for us. He joins us live from along the Danforth. Now, Anthony, what's the latest?
Well, this is one of the hardest hit parts of the GTA. We're talking about 40 to 50 centimeters of snow. As Sean mentioned, it is light, it is fluffy. It's great news if you're a skier, but in downtown Toronto, surrounding neighborhoods, this amount of snow is truly historic. The fact that by mid-morning we had only had 1 or 2 centimeters, and then the rates picked up, at times 5 to 8 centimeters per hour. This is stuff that is definitely for the record books, and it will go down as one of the biggest single-day totals in Toronto history, with some areas getting up to 60 centimeters of snow. Thankfully, it's light and fluffy, but there still are numerous accidents and definitely people struggling on the roads. And of course, for kids, they want to know, are we going to have a snow day tomorrow? And the question remains. The school boards, of course, are going to make that decision. The weather, however, will start to cooperate later this evening. Let's get right to our weather maps. And it has been incredible seeing this east wind, and that is a huge component of this storm. The fact that we have lake effect in the city of Toronto, and that is adding to the snow. This system is massive. It encompasses real estate all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico and now into Atlantic Canada, where 30 to 50 centimeters could fall in Halifax tomorrow as well. Toronto still under that orange winter storm warning for at least the evening, likely up until after midnight tonight. Of course, this storm also is remarkable because of how cold the temperature has been. -12 with a wind chill that could drop tonight down to about -25. And those breezes still coming in from the east, and that is adding extra oomph to the snowfall as we have that lake effect component that will start sinking down towards communities that only have about 20 centimeters, like Mississauga, Oakville, Hamilton later tonight. And then by tomorrow, we are left with cloudy skies, but the cleanup is just beginning. And as Sean mentioned, it is going to take a long time, not just clearing the roads, but also figuring out where to put this snow, and there is an additional 10 centimeters or more on the way over the next few hours. And it is just, I mean, I've been here 20 years, Kevin, and I have not seen snowfall rates like this. It has been relentless in the city, one of the hardest hit, and of course the biggest city in Canada. So we'll see about school tomorrow, but if you don't have to, stay off the roads tonight. This storm will finally move on, but the cold is here to stay. And I'll have your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, perfect, Anthony. And Anthony, we do have an update for those school-aged kids. The Toronto District School Board and the Toronto Catholic District School Board have both now announced that because of the weather, all schools will be closed tomorrow. So, like you mentioned, a strong storm, big storm, and one that's having a big effect. Thank you for that forecast. That's Anthony Farnell, knee-deep in snow by the Danforth. Now, this winter storm is also causing problems at Canada's busiest airport. Widespread cancellations creating a travel nightmare for anyone who was trying to fly in or out of Pearson Airport today. Now, here's a look at the latest statistics from Pearson's website. Hundreds of flights have been canceled or delayed, and crews are working to make sure the planes that do pass through Pearson are safely de-iced and ready to brave the skies. Our Lexi Benedict joins us now from Pearson. So, Lexi, how is this storm affecting travelers?
Hi, Kevin. I mean, if you have a scheduled flight here at Pearson and you somehow manage to get on that flight, consider yourself very lucky, because that is not the case for most travelers today. I mean, if you take a look at the board, you can see there are widespread cancellations. There are a couple of flights here that say they are on time, but we'll just have to see if those flights actually take off the ground. But as for Pearson, it is pretty quiet here today. Many travelers with canceled flights found out before making their way to the airport. So many people here we spoke with currently had flights that said they were on schedule and on time, and they are just hoping that they get to their destinations. But as they take a look at the conditions outside, it's obviously made for an anxious game of waiting and significant impacts to travel plans for many. Officials at Pearson say they were prepared for this situation in the lead up to the storm, but it still has made for very significant impacts on operations. For now, they are taking an all hands on deck approach, and more cancellations are continuing continuing to roll in. You'll hear from travelers who actually had their flight on time. They made it to the airport, and within the last hour, they found out it was canceled.
The snow is falling, and that's where we're seeing obviously the significant impact to the flight schedules. When the snow stops, the airlines will move into what we call a recovery mode, and that's what they'll be in tomorrow as they work to resume their schedules. We're focused on passenger safety and making sure that we can get as many people moving as quickly as possible, but always considering safety as the #1 priority.
You were about to get on a flight to Lisbon tonight.
Yes, we were, for 9 o'clock tonight, but we've just heard that it's been canceled.
We just came from Miami to Toronto, but our flight back home to Thunder Bay has been rescheduled for Saturday. So we're going to try see what we can do, maybe make some alternative arrangements or rent a car and brave the roads.
So far our flight says it's on time, but it's not for a couple of hours, around 4, so around 8 or so. Yeah, so hopefully everything will be on time.
And looking outside at the conditions, is it worrisome?
It is worrisome. It's very worrisome.
So again, for the timeline of delays and cancellations and for how long all of these impacts are expected to last, we're told it is a very fluid situation. But once the snow stops falling, Pearson says they will continue to focus on rescheduling those canceled flights. But in the meantime, for travelers, the advice is the same that it's been all weekend. Please make sure you check your flight status before making your way to the airport. I'll send it back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Lexi. Never an easy time at the airport in this weather. Well, this winter weather isn't just exclusive. Coverage of this major snowstorm currently battering the GTA. Just a reminder for viewers who are just joining us, we've got an update for the Toronto District School Board and the Toronto Catholic District School Board. All schools are closed tomorrow on Monday because of this snowstorm. So we have to bring in our chief meteorologist, Anthony Farnell. Of course, we know with this major system, these 2 school boards have decided to close. Well, there could be others to follow. What else should they watch out for here, Anthony?
Yeah, that's, I think, a really good call. There's a lot of snow still falling. I'm right out in the middle of Danforth, and there hasn't been a plow in maybe an hour and a half, and you can see that it's completely snow-covered. We're still getting rates of 5 to 8 centimeters, Kevin, every single hour. Let me go over the bank here, and I know some people say that the bike lanes sometimes get plowed before the roads. Not the case. This is the Danforth bike lane, and this is how much snow we're dealing with. And of course, every meteorologist brings out their trusty measuring tape, so let's just do a quick measurement here. And we are talking, yeah, we're now over 2 feet of snow. That's 60 centimeters of snow. It is light, it is fluffy, but that is an incredible total here on the Danforth, one of the hardest hit areas in Toronto because of lake effect. Let's talk temperature, and that's one of the reasons why it is so cold. As we go to the weather maps, minus 12. So let's say you get maybe at 20 millimeters of precipitation. Normally snow to liquid would be about 10 to 1. That would be 20 centimeters of snow. But in this case, we're talking 20 or 30 to 1. And that really is increasing those numbers. There's a lot of air between these snowflakes, but still, the end result is an incredible storm and then widespread cold. So if you're thinking this is going to melt, you are out of luck. It is going to remain well below seasonal through the upcoming week. We still have extreme cold warnings, and we're still under that orange winter storm warning throughout the GTA. This storm also has a history of ice south of the border, an incredible scene across the southern U.S. Over now 2 million in the dark, likely for days because of an ice storm. And then you get to northeastern states like New York, New England, and Atlantic Canada, and heavy snow will continue right into Monday, and schools will likely be closed in Atlantic Canada as well. Now for later Monday into Tuesday, the next Alberta Clipper moves through, mostly light snow amounts, but still lake effect a concern as we're dealing with these spiraling winds from one direction to the other. And now we still have 8 more centimeters that we're forecasting in Toronto, up to 15 as you get from Kingston off to Ottawa and into the Montreal area. It is cold tonight, it is cold tomorrow, Not quite to the extent we had last Friday. That was the chilliest day, but over the next 7 days, still highs well below seasonal, -8, -11 on Thursday, and then only slowly warming up later next week. So I'll get Tyler just to kind of pan over. It is just incredible to see. My hand is cold. I have to advance the maps, but I'll use my other hand here just to see how light and fluffy this snow is. It kind of feels like a movie set when you're out here. Easy to shovel, but it's going to cause some problems for residents for some time to come. So this snow is going to continue. The good news is it tapers off. It's going to happen slowly, but this is lake effect, and that's why we've had way more snow here than even other parts of the GTA. So a historic storm, one that we're going to be talking about for quite some time, and it will taper off by midnight tonight in the city of Toronto as this band pushes towards Oakville and Hamilton before tapering off. And that is a look at your forecast.
Powdery snow like this is great for the ski hill, but tough on the streets. Thanks so much for that update there, Anthony. Anthony Farnell out and braving the conditions, knee-deep in snow by the Danforth.
Global Toronto. This is Global News at 11.
Tonight, a chain reaction of weather woes leaves Toronto buried under heavy snowfall with freezing temperatures to match. We have the latest on what you need to know before Monday morning's commute straight ahead. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Gallagher. Many are calling it a historic snowstorm. More than 2 feet of snow dumped on the GTA over the course of a day Sunday. And even more is expected to come down in the early hours of Monday morning. Major snowstorm conditions is putting it lightly. Severe snowfall with high winds causing whiteout conditions on the roads, hundreds of canceled flights, and school closure announcements for students across the region. Our Lexi Benedict has been out in the worst of it tonight and brings us the latest.
After braving this historic winter storm, Toronto is now facing its next challenge, digging out.
There are 600 snowplow out there, and we have deployed 1,300 staff, and they are plowing our street.
And it is a big job. Toronto is buried under more than 60 centimeters of snow as of Sunday evening. Cleanup efforts began while the snow was still falling, continuing overnight and are expected to last for days. The city says snow clearing is happening continuously on roads, sidewalks, and bikeways, as well as TTC stops for commuters on Monday morning.
We're going to do our best to get the expressways and arterials open and clear as best we can. Transit is our priority to keep operating.
The storm sure left its mark on city streets and across GTA highways. Sunday brought treacherous conditions and moments of near zero visibility and dozens of crashes.
The OPP here in the GTA, we've responded to about 150 crashes in the last 24 hours, probably about another 125 vehicles in ditches or stuck in snowbanks that needed assistance or a tow truck.
Emergency weather conditions have prompted school closures on Monday for the Toronto District and Toronto Catholic School Boards, as well as Durham and York region. And while many stayed inside on Sunday, that wasn't the case for everyone. One person was spotted in shorts, another out for a run. And the snow didn't stop fans from watching a good old hockey game.
We're here in Toronto, Canada, as always. This is expected weather.
This is the kind of cleanup that most people are waking up to. As you can see, cars are buried in snow, and the snow goes up to my waist. And as for cleanup operations out on the road, drivers are being asked to avoid unnecessary travel so snow plows can continue operations. Lexi Benedict, Global News.
Warming centers do remain open as the city looks to get anyone experiencing homelessness a safe, warm indoor space to stay. In addition to the city's 5 regular warming sites, 2 additional surge sites have been opened up. City outreach teams are also out on the street helping to get vulnerable people out of the cold. This winter weather resulted in hundreds of delays and cancellations at Canada's busiest airport. Over 60% of arrivals and departures are impacted, and crews are hard at work to clear the snow and ice accumulation from the runways and tarmac. Any planes that do pass through Pearson will undergo de-icing before taking flight.
We're focused on passenger safety and making sure that we can get as many people moving as quickly as possible, but always considering safety as the #1 priority. When the snow stops, the airlines will move into what we call a recovery mode, and that's what they'll be in tomorrow as they work to resume their schedules.
Anyone expecting to travel tonight or tomorrow is urged to check their flight status before leaving home. Despite the abysmal conditions in the GTHA today, weather is beginning to improve heading into the overnight as the storm continues to move out of southern Ontario. But even as the snow tapers off, it's safe to say the effects of this system will be felt for days. For more on the overnight forecast and what to expect over the next few days, let's check in with weather specialist Noor Afat. Hey, Noor.
Hey, thanks very much, Kevin. Well, we can expect drier conditions heading into the overnight and certainly drier conditions heading into the next few days. But of course, the damage has already been done. Historic snowfall with more than 60 centimeters in Toronto, as we heard Lexi say. And what a day it's been for those in the GTHA. This is why we warn of the dangers of lake enhancement. We had a southeasterly flow of wind earlier in the day. What direction does that go? Towards the northwest. So it leads it right in the path of Toronto, Oakville, Hamilton, some of these areas that saw overwhelming snowfall amounts. The warmer air, or rather the colder air, moving over the warmer lake waters, picking up moisture and dropping it in the form of snow. Now imagine that 5 to 8 centimeters an hour, and you get something like what we saw earlier today. It wasn't just the lake effect, though. It was a combination of that, plus this devastating United States storm that made for this ruckus that we saw outside. And believe it or not, this is just the outer bands of this system. The worst of it is in the United States, where we know at least 9 people have been killed, and more than 1 million Americans were at one point without power. The path moving forward is we're going to see some northeasterly winds. That's already happening, and that's important because it changes the direction of those snow squalls. Heading into the day tomorrow, we're going to see that into Waterloo, around Simcoe County, the Barrie region, and seeing it more visible heading into the afternoon. Toronto, you may even get some sunny breaks around 3 to 4 o'clock. I do want to mention it's nice to see some people enjoying the snow, like one of our viewers, Laura. Unfortunately, not many of us, none of us actually, will be able to make some snowmen out of all that snow because it's so fluffy, it's so powdery, it's impossible for it to stick. If you want to do what Laura did, add some water to that and you can get going. Tomorrow, temperatures remain below average, -8 degrees in Toronto, wind chill values at -19. Windy conditions will blow that snow around, but it's safe to say we're not expecting extra totals for your Monday. Kevin?
Thanks, Noor. In the United States, the powerful winter storm is bringing ice, frigid temperatures, and widespread power outages for hundreds of thousands of Americans. The storm is expected to last until Monday, raising the chance of dangerous travel conditions for several more days. Chanel Call has the latest.
The winter storm pounded dozens of states from Texas into New England Sunday.
This is really crazy. I can barely even see. I was thinking I needed to bring some goggles or something.
Crews spent the day working on the massive cleanup efforts to take some of the danger out of leaving the house.
The snow just keep coming down harder and harder. No matter how you push the snow, it just keep coming.
In Dallas, an extreme cold warning was set to remain in effect through Tuesday. Amid downed trees and icy roads, several counties in Kentucky reported widespread power outages.
That's our #1 job right now is plow till we get to the trees, and then we got to use chainsaws and cut them up and get them out of the way.
In New York, this taxi driver says he worked through the storm because he likes to help others.
Today is a very dangerous, but I'm driving I make some money, and people is a lot of in the street because they want to cab.
New York City schools have also been shut down on Monday as the city pivots to remote learning for the day. While the snow is causing countless problems, some are making the most of it.
It's just the best thing ever. I love it.
Including these families who went sledding near the U.S. Capitol. Chanel Call, CBS News, New York.
Federal parties are gearing up for the return of Parliament. Sky Tracker weather with our Noor Rafat. Noor, this is like real.
Side of things, Kevin, we when this storm barreled through the United States, it was rain and freezing rain, and that is what put more than 1 million Americans without power, at least 9 people dead in the United States because of this same storm. Now, the effects we're already feeling in Ontario with historic snowfall totals, could be overwhelming snowfall totals in Atlantic Canada.
Wow.
Wherever you're situated, I think it's safe to say we're going to feel the effects of this for the next few days. Well, you've probably felt it already today, but temperatures felt a lot more reasonable than how we started the weekend in Toronto. Tomorrow, similar conditions. Minus 19 for a wind chill in the morning. We're still well below average when it comes to that high at minus 8. The big story will be the fact that we're not seeing snow anymore, and we will be focused on cleanup efforts, I would imagine, for the next few days as we continue to deal with the massive snow dump. Some sunny breaks could be possible heading into the day tomorrow, but don't be surprised if you see some of that snow getting blown around, once again reducing visibility. Cold has been a shared experience for many across the country. The polar vortex taking a special interest to the east in the coming days, which means all the way through until the end of January, maybe into the first few days of February, we're going to continue to see below average temperatures for southern Ontario. So unfortunately, you're going to still have to bundle up the entirety of this upcoming week in Toronto. Now, the destructive storm, it started in Texas, moved all the way to the northeast, and we were getting the outer bands of this system, and yet still pummeled by 60 centimeters of snow. Similar amounts for Atlantic Canada as it moves into there. Still some disruptions early Monday morning for Ottawa area, maybe into Kingston. As the winds shift, the snow squalls now move into Waterloo, Wyerton, around Stratford as well, and Guelph. Toronto seeing those sunny breaks. Tuesday, another round of those snow squalls as lake enhancement continues to kick right back in thanks to those strong gusting winds. And the winds will be strong on Tuesday, 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. Wednesday, also quite the breezy day. So watch out for that. It's going to be quite the scene in the next few days. We're starting to see more of that sunshine by Thursday. Still a bitter minus 12 degrees. And even as